Hello and welcome. My name is TyrionLanstr. Alright, folks, we're going to do another weapons review today, and specifically, we're going to be looking at probably the most important commanders out there. That is Jaime for the spears, Leila for the cavalry, and Sinara for infantry. The reason why I say these are probably the most important commanders is because of how much ramifications they have for the lineup that you run. Whether you are running Sinara or Leila or Jaime is going to basically determine what type of lineup you're running. So with Jaime, of course, the weakness lineup, with Leila, the army skills and female commanders, and with Sinara, the additional attacks and bleed damage. So, okay, let's just kick things off right here with Sinara. So Sinara, her weapon provides her with a 70% chance to do one additional attack with a 30% damage coefficient, 20% 2 times, 10% 3 times. When they do attack, they're still silenced. Nothing else new there. When you get it to the 4-star preview, then what is different here is that they've given additional percent chances of doing the 2 times attack or the 3 times attack. So if you look at it, it goes from 70, 20, 10 to 30, 40, 30. I'll be honest, I'm not sure why. I think that the point here, just so that we're clear, is that it always adds up to 100. So it's 70, 20, 10 versus being 30, 40, 30. So now the most likely thing to have happen is that you get 2 additional times, and there's a solid chance of getting 3, versus originally when it's pretty much always just going to be 1 additional and the 2010. So that's the main difference there. The damage coefficient stays the same. It's always 30%. They're always still silenced. Nothing changed there. So definitely a very cool kind of tweak to it. It makes it a little bit different. And let's just compare this really quickly to what Sinara's base would be without having her weapon. So if we look here at Sinara's Awakening, we can see that here there is a 70%, 20%, 70% and then a 30% chance to do twice, but there's no chance to do a third hit. So just getting the weapon changes that allocation from 7% to do 1 bonus time and 30% to do a second bonus time to a full new choice of there's a 10% chance also of getting a third hit. So definitely very interesting and a huge pickup just for getting the weapon unlocked at the base. I mean, that's, giving yourself the chance to have a third hit is a big deal. Okay, so that's Sinara. Let's look at our next one. So let's go to Leila Mormont. Leila Mormont is, of course, the, again, female active army skills. So what changes here is that whenever any female commander uses their active army skill, that skill will have a 40% chance to be used twice, 10% chance to be used 3 times, and a 3% chance to be used 4 times. So, holy cow. Lots of chances to do a ton of damage. Notice that this does not add up to 100% like with Sinara, so you're not guaranteed to get this. Whenever someone uses their ability, maybe they just use it once. There's no guarantee that they will use it twice. But you can see that 40% is almost half. You're getting pretty decent odds that you'll get some bonus, and then that 3% chance of using 4 times is a pretty big deal. If we level it up to 4 stars, we'll see that we go up to 45%, 20%, and 8. So definitely getting a much better chance to get something off. This is now at over 70%, so probably around 3/4 or so of the time you should be getting some bonus, and you're upping your odds of getting it to be either 3 or 4 as well. And again, let's just compare this to what Leila looks like without her weapon. Her Awakening ability, Mama's Bear Frenzy, has a 30, 10, 3. So I would say just the big difference is that 30% to 40% that you get with having her weapon. But it's not like Sinara where there's a new level that you can reach. But with her, yeah, it's a 40% 10-3 versus that 30 10-3. So, it's just increasing your chances of having it hit twice. And there's no real other stat change. The coefficients are all the same to my understanding. Obviously, you get good stats from having the weapon itself, but in terms of the active skill. All right, last and certainly not least, we have Jaime, and I will say that this is the one that I actually currently own. I have the Oathkeeper. I'm so happy that I got it. I got very lucky. But let's break down what his difference is. So the weakness attacks. Everyone hopefully knows how weakness attacks work. Basically, whenever you get healing, you use weakness attacks for the next 5 seconds, where you only attack the lineup with the most troops that are lost, and you cannot miss. The big deal, though, is that every time a weakness attack hits, that target will take 3.5 more damage taken in the future, so it kind of just scales up very quickly. Comparing this to the 4-star version, you get a whole 6 weakness damage taken for every time you hit. So just to kind of help people to understand why that change matters, and just to kind of contextualize it. When they say every lineup hits, if you have 5 different lineups, or 5 different, like, they call them lineups, 5 different columns, basically, each one of them, if you have, all spears, let's say, and they're all using weakness attacks, then every time that all 5 of them attack, then it's 5 unique weakness attacks. So instead of being 3.5 damage taken for each of those, which would get you up to about 17.5 more damage by the end, with 6, it's going to be up at 30. So you can see that it's really a major scaling effect that's going to happen. And if you have a full weakness setup where you've got cavalry, infantry, and spears all using weakness attacks, you can see how this is going to scale like crazy. And having more weakness damage taken for each one is basically doubling your effectiveness of these weakness attacks. Comparing it to Jaime normally, he just gets 3 more weakness damage taken each time he hits. The first level up you get 0.5, and then the full scale you get full up to 6. So it doubles it by the end. I will say that of these 3, I think that the biggest initial jump is definitely Sinara. Like the fact that you get the additional, like, oh, there's a chance that you have 3 hits now. That to me is the biggest jump, and if you were only going to get one of them unlocked at all, and you had the ability to go either bleed weakness or female army skills, I would say Sinara is the best to have just one of them and not get any stars on them. I think that the full 4-star version, Jaime, is the best, just because you're getting that whole 6 weakness damage taken. That's such a big buff, and that makes it very noteworthy. I think that for me, Leila's here is probably like the least of a exciting change throughout it. You go from 30 to 40%, and then at 4 stars you go up to 45% for the chance it used twice. You go from 10% to 20% for 3 times, and 3 to 8. I mean, I think that just the thing to understand about this is that the reason why they can't give it much more than that is it would just be insanely broken and overpowered. They are technically doubling those chances. They're just not increasing that much because it has to be a really low chance, because getting to use 4 active army skills, I mean, would be kind of nutty and crazy amounts of damage. So they can't overbuff it, I think, is part of the problem. But looking at them, just lastly, wanted to look at the art. We've got Sinara's The Dance of Water, and it looks like it's got water coming off it. It looks beautiful, so cool. For Leila, it's the Spirit Bear, and it looks kind of frost. Like, it looks like it's got kind of a frost effect going on it, like it's in a blizzard, which definitely looks kind of cool, and it's a very long sword. I kind of like that. I think it makes sense for a cavalry commander to have a really long sword like that. And then finally, the Spearman, Jaime's, looks like a very standard one, but it truly looks like Jaime's actual sword in the game, which I think is really cool and really fun, and they kind of stayed true to that. It's got the little lions on the edges, hopefully for the Lannisters. I think that looks really cool and is a very nice nod to the original game. I think that we don't have many others that are attempting to do that. Of course, you have like Needle and stuff like that for Arya, but just in general, I like when they try to stay true to it. So anyway, that's it for this video, folks. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you learned a thing or two, and until next time, my name is TyrionLanstr. I'll see you then.